medieval friends. Today we are going to make buttered worts. This recipe comes from two 15th-century cookbooks, and I came across it on the website goodcookery.com. Worts are basically any green vegetable. It's cabbage, it's broccoli, it's sage, it's parsley. We're going to use cabbage, dandelions, kale, and leeks. So it's spring in Ohio, it's the first week of May, and the weeds are coming up aplenty. But so are last year's biannual plants, my leeks, and my carrots, and my kale. So we are going to harvest some leeks. I'm going to leave the carrots so that they can seed because they're white and red carrots, and I would like to propagate those more to be a little more authentic in my cooking. But the leeks, I'm gonna leave this big guy here. I'm gonna leave this big guy here, and I'm gonna pull some of the other ones. Once leeks go to seed, they are still edible, but they're a little tough, and they're not as good. So I'm going to pull a couple of these now and let the other guys go to seed, and we'll bring them inside. Kale is another biannual that when it comes back a second year, like this one has, it starts to flower. Come on. It starts to flower, and you get these little seeds at the top. And once the flower dies and you get your seeds, you can replant it and keep growing your kale. So we're going to pinch off some of these leaves. Just real gentle like, just with your thumb. They come right off, and take them inside. Dandelion should be pretty easy to spot, but it does have a couple of lookalikes that are a little more on the spiky side. You don't want to eat them. You do want to eat dandelions, which are high in all kinds of nutrients, and it's a little ridiculous it's considered a weed. They're delicious. Get it. Do not pick it from a random field if you don't know if they've been spraying pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, any of that stuff. Don't just pick random dandelions. Get them from your own yard, or honestly, get them in the grocery store, usually in the organic section. And don't worry, even in my little city lot, I promised I've saved enough for the bees. I have a little bit of cabbage left over from another project, so I'm going to slice this up real quick. The goal is just to have 8 total cups. So I've got a little bit more. We'll just say I'm bad at measuring vegetables because this is delicious. But I've got kale and cabbage in this one. Not quite equal amounts, but enough that it's just over 4 cups. But you just want a total of 8 cups between all your vegetables. When you buy leeks at the store, you really don't have to deal with all this mess. But if you grow them yourself, you get some nice dirty roots. You get this weird old skin stuff. So we're just gonna... And now that our leeks are all clean, we'll go chop them up. So leeks, you want to cut the root off, and you want to cut just up to where the leaves start branching off. So all of this is usable, and we're just going to cut it in half long ways, and then we're going to slice them up this way. Every part of the dandelion is edible. The heads are great in shortbread or jams or wine or soap. There is even a dandelion festival local to us where everything sold is made out of dandelions. The leaves we're going to be eating tonight once we get them all separated and cleaned. And the roots can be dried and turned into things like tea. The leaves you can also dry and turn into tea. They have lots of purposes. They're great. They're healthy. Don't murder your dandelions. This recipe cooks down the vegetables pretty well, so we don't really need to chop anything. But now that our dandelions are clean, we're going to cut off right here so they're not in one big bundle. And with how long this one is, we're going to go ahead and cut this one in half. But they're nice and shiny and clean now. Yay, free food! Now that we've got a total of 8 cups of vegetables, we're going to put everything together in a pot and start boiling. Now that our vegetables are all measured and chopped, we're going to add them to our pot. Cover with water. Now that our leafy vegetables, or worts, are all covered with water, we are going to turn our burner on high and add in 1 stick or 1/4 pound of butter. And once that starts boiling, the butter will melt and you turn it off when the vegetables are tender. Now that the butter is melted and it's starting to boil, you really got to start watching because overcooked greens are just slimy and ick. So I would give it only 2-3 minutes, depending on how you like your cabbage, if you like it a little more crunchy or a little more thin, or if you're not even using cabbage, if you're using a different one. But give it just a couple of minutes and then you're going to want to strain all the water out. Well, these are looking pretty cooked to me, so I'm going to turn off my burner and strain out the water. Once your worts are all drained and you got all the water out, take your bowl with bread and just start adding them in and enjoy.